So this exhibition is a bit, I won't say light-hearted, but it is not as heavy as the last two, because it's dealing with subjects which I've painted all along my career. Swings, which I loved because they remind me of my childhood. And I've painted swings since 1997, I think, or 98. I've been very, very fascinated with swings. Of course, swings could be a childish game, and they can remind us of the ups and downs of life. They can remind us of the continuous movement of life, of the agony of, you can put a lot of meanings to the swings. The swings, because I've painted swings all along my career, you can follow up the changes which happen to my visual language. And the last swings I've painted, you can see that they are tending to be more or less an abstraction of the swing. It's the spirit of the swing rather than the swing. So this is the first subject which I've painted in this exhibition, the swings. And the second subject is the Oriental dancer. Of course, my generation was always being fascinated by the Oriental dancer. To us, the Oriental dancer was the epitome of entertainment. We saw it on the silver screen, and we saw it in weddings, in the Moulids, which is the celebration of the holy sheikhs, the holy persons. And it was an integral part of my childhood. But when I first painted the subject of the Oriental dancer in 2004, I was not dealing with the dancer herself, not the costume of the dancer, but I was dealing more with the movement of figure in space. I wanted to project how I see a figure moving in space. And the swings and the dancer together, they have started my obsession with time and movement in my paintings. My paintings has got this, characteristic of trying to capture the movement of the object. Even when I paint still life, which is the third subject in this exhibition, I tend to look at it not as objects still, not moving, and deal with the heaviness of the objects, with the gravity, but I deal with the passing of time on the surface of the object. So the objects themselves tend to be not sitting properly. The heaviness is lighted by the passing of time.
This exhibition is composed of two parts, in my opinion. One part is watercolors, which is a very difficult art. It's the art of amateurs and masters, because when the child starts to paint, he uses crayons and wax crayons and things like that, and then he moves to the brush. The first thing he does with the brush is to color with watercolors. Then afterwards, if he becomes an artist, he will move to other medias, like oil painting, for instance. In this exhibition, we have two sorts of paintings. We have the watercolors and we have the oil paintings. And the things that brings them together is the search and the love of the artist to picture movement. The movement is very important. He uses movements even in still forms. And we know that portraits is a still form of art. But here he tries to give to add movement to even portraits, which are still. Of course, we can see the movements in the belly dancer paintings, because and he excels in that. So this is a very important exhibition. I believe it is a retrospect. I mean that he has old works in addition to new works in the same exhibition, and this does not happen any often. Usually you have a retrospect or a new exhibition. He brought these two histories or periods together, and that gives the exhibition richness, which we can see evident in this exhibition.
I think this exhibition of Mr. Samir Fouad is very unique because it has combined a lot of his styles and media. I think he wanted to dedicate it first to watercolors, and he told me that he sometimes mixes a little pastel with his watercolors that gives it a very special freshness, maybe lacking in watercolors that are only done through this difficult medium. He had studied that, and he knows the background, the theory behind it, and he has experimented extensively with the technique to the extent that he actually wrote a book about the technique of watercolors, and I think it's a very valid and valuable book. Today we see a lot of his favorite themes all around. I think we see children in a swing, we see the belly dancer, we see like scenery from Aswan, which he loves. We see a lot of his very special still life in watercolors with reflections over different surfaces. I think it's a very nice, comprehensive exhibition about what Samir Fouad is all about, really.
Third subject in this exhibition is still lifes. I like roses, but I don't paint a lot of roses now. There is only one or two paintings in this exhibition dealing with roses. But I like other objects like bottles. Bottles to me have always been fascinated because of Egypt. You know, I have a lot of bottles in my studio, and I always like to see the passing of the light, you know, over the bottle when it comes and hits the surface of the bottle and the bottle lights up. And it's just like, you know, a bulb, you know, a light bulb in the middle of a dark room. The fourth and the final object in this exhibition is the Egyptian women. I've always painted from a life model, and the life model to me is essential because it makes me keep with the spirit of Egypt. You know, women always carries the spirit of the country, and this is typical of Egypt. The Egyptian women carries the spirit of Egypt, and when I paint a model, I paint her because talking to her before, talking to her during, talking to her after keeps me in contact with the spirit of Egypt. And after all, we are all, as artists, trying to capture the spirit of Egypt, and this is what I've been trying to do, whether I'm doing swings or dancer or faces or still life in my studio. I'm trying to capture a piece or a side of the spirit of Egypt.
Culture Magazine's camera is always following the recent cultural events that are taking place here in Egypt. If you want to know the details about these events, so stay tuned.
الشرقية من محافظات الدلتا القديمة اللي بتحمل في طياتها كل الأحداث اللي مرت بها مصر.
I attempted to show the traditional social life of Egyptians in my work. I grew up in Sharqiya district, which could be considered part of the countryside. This is one of the oldest areas in Egypt, and it has witnessed all stages of events and history that Egypt has passed through. So we've lived and witnessed all this, including wars and even happy events as well. And I wanted to focus on the simple life of Egyptians and show that through my art.
Unfortunately, we came to the end of this edition of Culture Magazine. Thank you for watching and hope you did enjoy it, and wait for us next week with more culture events.